Most type 1 diabetics don't even realize when they're stuck in burnout mode. And worse, they have no idea how to get out of it. From drowning in finger pricks and shots to juggling pump changes every 3 days and CGM sensors every 10. It feels like your whole life revolves around managing this disease. I'm Matt Griner, and I've lived with type 1 diabetes for over 25 years. I spent more than a decade as a firefighter, promoting all the way to captain. And even with all that structure and discipline, I still hit a wall that almost broke me. But what I discovered on the other side of that burnout completely changed how I manage my diabetes. And it's way simpler than most people think. So in this video, I want to break down the 3 biggest reasons you're burning out with type 1 and what finally helped me break free without losing my health, my fitness, or my sanity. The first point is one of the biggest reasons you're burning out, and it's the 24/7 unpredictability of living with type 1. Burnout doesn't come from not caring. It comes from caring nonstop about something that you can't fully control. Every type 1 knows the grind, checking numbers, correcting highs, catching your lows, adjusting doses, switching pump sites, and trying to make sense of it all. And still, diabetes does its own thing. You can do everything right and still crash low when you don't want to. You can eat perfectly and still go high for no reason at all. That constant unpredictability, that's what wears you down. And I know that frustration firsthand. I've had those moments where I was doing everything right and my blood sugar just laughed at me. But what made it worse was being told that diabetes would limit me. When I was younger, I was told I couldn't get my ambulance driver's license because of type 1. Then I was told I would never become a firefighter. That crushed me, but it also lit a fire under me. I decided nobody was going to tell me what I could or couldn't do because of type 1 diabetes. So I learned everything: the rules, the physiology, the safety protocols. I proved them all wrong. I got my ambulance driver's license, I became a firefighter, and I promoted all the way up to captain. That's when I realized burnout doesn't come from diabetes itself. It comes from feeling powerless against it. And the way out isn't perfection, it's power. And here's what I want you to do today, not tomorrow, today. Pick one thing in your diabetes routine that drains you the most. Not everything, not 5 things, just one. Maybe it's constantly correcting your highs. Maybe it's chasing your lows. Or maybe it's stressing over every carb that you eat. Now, instead of trying to perfect it, I want you to just simplify it. If it's highs, then set one rule. If I'm high, I correct once and I move on. If it's lows, set one safety rule. Treat with 15 grams, wait 15 minutes, then continue your day. If it's food, set one boundary, no random guessing. Either I measure it or choose something that's predictable. Burnout comes from decision fatigue. You reduce burnout by reducing your decisions. One rule, one boundary, and one change. Master that first, then add another. Because when you stop letting diabetes call the shots, you start taking your whole life back, one decision at a time. And before we keep going, I just wanted to say something real quick. Most of you guys watching this aren't even subscribed to the channel, and I get it. You're here trying to figure out this disease and how to get your life back. But if anything I'm saying is helping you, even just a little bit, hitting subscribe is such an easy thing for you to do, and it means the absolute world to me. I'm trying to build a place for type 1s who want to get stronger, healthier, and stop feeling like diabetes is running their whole life. So if you haven't yet, take 2 seconds and hit that subscribe button. All right, let's keep going. The second point is key, and it's that you're letting type 1 diabetes steal your passion and fire for life. When burnout hit me the hardest, it wasn't because I was being lazy. It was because I was running on empty, physically, mentally, and emotionally. I was working full-time at the firehouse, managing diabetes around 24-hour shifts, staying fit, being a husband and a dad, and I just kept pushing. I thought discipline alone could beat the burnout, but discipline without joy just drains you. So I went back to what made me feel alive: movement, lifting, training, and being outdoors. And not because I had to because of diabetes, but because those things reminded me that I'm capable. They reminded me that I'm still me. And that fire came back the moment I started doing these things that filled me back up instead of draining me. And that's where most type 1s miss the mark. We get so caught up in the numbers that we forget what those numbers are actually for: to help us live. And here's what nobody tells you about burnout: you don't fix it by doing more. You fix it by coming back to the pieces of yourself that you stopped taking care of. So here's what I want you to do. Pick one thing, just one, that made you feel alive before diabetes took over your whole mental space. Something that reconnects you back to yourself. For me, it was being back in nature and moving my body. Not for diabetes, but because it made me feel alive again. For you, it might be a slow walk without rushing, surfing, running, lifting weights, or biking, sitting outside and breathing without the stress, playing with your kids without checking your CGM, cooking a meal that you actually enjoy, or journaling everything that you've been holding in. Get out in nature, music, movement, whatever it is. Do it for 10 to 20 minutes a day. Don't track it. Don't perfect it. Don't turn it into another task. Do it because you matter. And because burnout breaks the moment you stop disappearing inside the disease and start showing up for yourself again. The best way to fight burnout isn't by pushing harder. It's by remembering why you started in the first place. And point number 3, the real secret to staying consistent, is changing your relationship with your numbers. You want to know what finally broke me? It wasn't the high, it wasn't the lows, it wasn't even the chaotic roller coaster days where you feel like you're chasing numbers from morning till night. It was the feeling that I was constantly wrestling something that I could never pin down. For years, every spike felt like a personal failure. Every low felt like a punishment. Every off day felt like proof that I wasn't doing enough, even though I was trying harder than anyone around me even realized. That's the part that nobody understands about this disease. You can be disciplined, you can train, you can eat clean, you can follow all the rules, you can do everything right, and diabetes will still hit you out of nowhere. And after a while, that fight gets exhausting. You start living in reaction mode instead of living life how it should be. You start tying the numbers on the screen to your self-worth. You start believing that every spike means something about you. And I got to a point where I realized I wasn't burned out because the numbers were bad. I was burned out because every number felt like a threat. I was treating diabetes like something I had to beat, not something I had to work with. That shift changed everything. Not because diabetes got easier, but because the way I responded got much healthier. And here's the truth that we don't say enough out loud. Most of us don't burn out because of the highs or the lows. We burn out because of what we make it all mean. I'm failing. I can't control this. I'm doing everything wrong. I'm exhausted. I can't keep doing this. So here's what I want you to practice. Every time you scan or check your CGM, say this. This is information, not judgment. Then ask the one question that brings you back into control. What's the next best move I can make? That's it. Not why is this happening? What did I do wrong? Why can't I get this right? Those questions fuel your burnout. But what's the next best move? That question gives you the clarity. It gives you calm. It gives you control again. Because when you stop attaching shame to your numbers, they stop controlling your emotions. Because when you stop fighting diabetes and start flowing with it, you don't just survive, you finally thrive. If there's one thing I've learned after 25 years with type 1, it is absolutely this. Diabetes doesn't get to decide what kind of life you live. You do. You can be strong, you can be fit, you can build a career, raise a family, chase your goals, and live life on your terms. You just need the right mindset, the right habits, and the belief that nothing, not even type 1 diabetes, can stop you. And hey, if this video made you feel seen or helped in any way, hit that like button and tell me in the comments below what part spoke to you the most. Your voice might be the thing that helps another type 1 break through their burnout. And if you know another type 1 that needs to hear this, send it their way. We lift each other up in this community. If you're ready to keep building that control and freedom, check out my last video where I dive into lies keeping type 1 diabetics fat. Because sometimes it's the stuff that you think is helping you is actually what's holding you back. Go watch that next. And remember, always spank the pank. I'm out.